Will this attempt, Shiv Vishwanathan, by Nitish Kumar to try and invoke sympathy work in his favor or against it?
See, I think Nitish is good at local spaces. What he's doing is setting the stage for a local drama where sympathy might work, where good works can work. I think he's realized in a way he's lost the national space. So what he wants is a local drama as a local player to survive locally.
Is this an ego clash or is this more Veer Sanghavi? Because he's taken a consistent ideological position. Unlike, say, a Chandrababu Naidu or a Ramvilas Paswan who did an ideological somersault, to be fair to them, had that point of view and he stuck to it.
The people are very cynical about Nitish, but I have always had a lot of time for him. I do believe that he is a genuine person, that he was genuinely committed to the upliftment of Bihar, and his problems with Modi were not those of pragmatism. He genuinely had a problem with what he considered the hard line or the lunatic fringe of the BJP. Now, unfortunately for him, it's that hard line of the BJP which, having softened itself during the campaign, has won this huge victory. The honorable thing for him to do, therefore, is to accept that he has no place in this government.
Okay, Pinky Anand from the Bharatiya Janata Party is also joining us on this broadcast this evening. Good evening, Pinky. We're seeing live images from the ghats of the Ganga in Varanasi where preparations are on for a grand aarti. Will the Bharatiya Janata Party attempt to try and form a new government? You're fairly close to a majority if you try hard enough, and there are enough disgruntled elements, according to BJP leaders in Bihar themselves, within the Janata Dal United who can be brought over. They've been threatening to do this for a long time. They say, we can bring down the JDU government when we want. Will we see the Bharatiya Janata Party attempt to try and form a government?
I think the various options available to the Bharatiya Janata Party are something which need to be debated about, Rahul, and I am not, right now it would not be a position in which we can actually suggest to you which is the option we will be taking. So let us hold it out and see what happens.
But you will at least concede that Nitish Kumar has had a moral position. Unlike a Ramvilas Paswan, a Chandrababu Naidu, who took a position against Modi, but when it suited them, conveniently forgot what they'd said earlier, Nitish Kumar has held a position and clung on to it. Do you concede that to him as a political adversary?
Of course, I think, Rahul, there's no question of not conceding whatever has happened in the context of whatever it has happened. The reasons behind it, of course, may be another issue as to why Nitish Kumar has really done this, to taken this moral ground. But as you said, on the face of it, yes, it is a moral ground that he's taken, whether it is to benefit himself with the sympathy factor or otherwise to gain interest from it. But on the other hand, it is something which is a political person should be considering, because you do need to give a justification for the manner in which you have been routed in the recent elections.
Okay, we've got Ankit Tyagi joining us from Varanasi. Just for a moment, I want to step back and look at this grand evening aarti for which preparations are currently going on. Ankit, what can you tell us? What time will Narendra Modi be reaching the lovely ghats, and what time will this evening aarti be? It usually peaks around 7:30 p.m. Is that the way it's planned this evening as well, Ankit?
Absolutely. That seems like around 7 o'clock would be when Narendra Modi will take part in that aarti. I am right now at Laura Beach Chauraha, Rahul, and this is where Narendra Modi will be coming in a short while from now. Already, if you can see behind me, my camera person Sudhir will pan and show it to you. Lots of people have started lining up on both sides of the road. In fact, on rooftops also, there are people, those who are vying for a spot to catch a glimpse of the BJP, is the PM designate of India, Narendra Modi, and also the MP from Banaras. You can see behind me already drums are out, people in large number. It's almost a carnival sort of an atmosphere here. The police trying very hard to make sure that this drive which Narendra Modi will be taking, he will be going towards the Kashi Vishwanath Mandir, the temple from here, and from there he will perform the puja. From there, he'll be going towards the ghats where the Ganga aarti will be done. Remember, this is very significant. The Ganga aarti, as soon as he has won, he's coming here to perform the same aarti in which he was stopped the last time he had come to campaign in Banaras. So, also making a significant point as far as the administration here is concerned. But yes, in a short while from now, Narendra Modi is expected to come here,
no,
and then he'll be on his way to Kashi Vishwanath.
The returning officer, no one ever stopped Modi, and that's a point Kejriwal laboured on intensively. No one ever stopped Modi from doing the Ganga Aarti. They stopped him from doing a rally in Beniabag. he chose not to do the Ganga Aarti. In fact, he asked for permission when nothing was required. Permission for the Aarti wasn't particularly required. These, of course, are live images of the preparations that are currently taking place. I have a straight question, Shiv Vishwanathan. Do you think Nitish Kumar will be able to replicate, will BJP be able to replicate what happened in the Lok Sabha elections, in the assembly elections that will happen soon?
See, they have an advantage. But I think one has to be clear that to a certain extent, you know, within the time this happens, Nitish might actually capture the space of the victim, the space of sympathy. If he does that, I think Nitish might be a difficult problem to tackle. Because he's also made it very clear, the way he presented himself as a captive of history, one of the last socialists. He said, ideology has no place today, but I have to respect the people. He's building up the drama for that event. In fact, if you look at this whole drama, it's very shrewd. And shrewdness is always a combination of morality and pragmatism.
But the reality, Veer Sanghavi, is he doesn't have the caste arithmetic to be able to take on the BJP and the RJD Congress alliance without the help of the BJP. He comes from a very numerically insignificant caste himself. He doesn't have a social coalition without the BJP support. And therefore, he starts on very weak ground.
Absolutely. The parallel people always give in these kind of arguments is the 1984 situation when Rajiv Gandhi won this huge majority in Karnataka. R.K. Hegde then went in for an assembly election and Hegde won despite the Rajiv fever going through the country. I don't think it's the same kind of situation because let's not forget, for a start, Nitish never actually won a majority on his own. He was always dependent on the BJP, and as you've correctly pointed out, the caste arithmetic, to the extent that this election will be about caste arithmetic, is not in his favor. It would be very, very difficult for him to win any kind of majority. I don't see who he can align with. He can't align with the Congress. He certainly can't align with Lalu. My guess is he's in for 5 years of opposition.
Okay, this is Narendra Modi's cavalcade. Look at the celebration, the jubilation among the BJP workers and the common Varanasi folk who've gathered along the line, along the lanes of Varanasi to welcome India's new Prime Minister. And in some senses, Varanasi is really looking forward to the moment Narendra Modi takes over because expectations have been heightened to such an extent, Shiv Vishwanathan, that they're hoping that once he becomes PM, he'll be able to turn Varanasi around.
Yeah, in fact, the one thing everyone is waiting for is not the Gujarat model of development, but the Varanasi model of development. What happens to the weavers? What happens to unemployment? What is the fate of a city like this? I think these questions surfaced during the election, and to a certain extent, I think Modi will have to respond to the people of the city.
He's already got professors at the Banaras Hindu University who've put together a roadmap for how to develop Varanasi, and I think that is, as we see these images, one of his greatest assets, that he taps into talent, he organizes them, he listens to what they have to say, and he allows the experts to do their job.
Absolutely. And when it comes to Varanasi, I don't think he can afford to sort of take a back seat. He's got to make sure that Varanasi prospers. He's got to make sure he does more for Varanasi than, say, the Gandhis have done for Amethi or Rai Bareli. He's got to prove that he's more than just a Gujarat politician, that his kind of development is not just Gujarat related, it's national.
Okay, I want to go across also to Uday Mahurkar, senior editor, India Today magazine, joining us from our Ahmedabad studios. We're seeing these live images of Varanasi having been painted saffron. Uday, do we know what Modi's been up to in private over the past 48 hours? Everyone's followed him publicly, but what sense do you have the mood amongst his team, the ones who people don't really know much about, the Kailash Nathans, the Murmus, the Jagdish Thakkars of the world? What have they been doing, saying, and now all these people moving bag and baggage from Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar to Delhi soon?
You see, there is one trait of Modi which is unmistakable. Once he selects a bureaucrat on his personal office, he doesn't leave them easily. So if you go by that, I think A.K. Sharma will be the first person. There is one officer called A.K. Sharma. He is an IS officer, very close to Modi. I am very sure he will make it to Delhi. Murmu is another confident. Mr. Kailash Nathan retired a year ago. He's on extension, so I would expect him also to be there in Delhi. But since he has retired, there might be a question mark over Kailash Nathan's name just because he has retired. Otherwise, I think other people he will take to Delhi. I think so, having seen him over the last 12 years.
Is there any sense of what he might do with the likes of an LK Advani, with the likes of a Murli Manohar Joshi, Sushma Swaraj? Will they figure in Modi's scheme of things, and if so, in what fashion?
No, they must be already figuring in his scheme of things. Only difference is that it's very difficult to read his mind as of now. But as I told you in the morning today, you see, RSS has played the most important role in this election. I think it has played this role only twice in the past. Once in 1977 and then in the Ram Janmabhoomi movement election, that is 89 and 91. This election was even different, you know, because RSS joined in a very planned manner. I mean, there was a data done on the election and it was passed on to the workers at the ground level, at the village level, at the taluka level, you know. So RSS has played a very important role. So I think there is more synergy between Modi and RSS than it was before. It's a very significant statement I am making. The impression is that Modi tries to keep RSS under check. True, partially, but it depends on individuals in the RSS. There is a set of leaders with whom he is very close, you know. But as of now, he has got good synergy with the RSS. And when it comes to Sushma Swaraj, LK Advani and Manohar Joshi, I think he will RSS will play a big role on his part in defining as to what position they get, where they stand once he takes over.
Will he be RSS's Prime Minister? Or will he be his own man, Shiv Vishwanathan?
Look, he's RSS to the core. He's a pracharak. And he sees India to a certain extent as an amplified shaka. So let's be very clear about this. He's become more global, he's become more cosmopolitan. But the word he uses himself, cultural DNA, his cultural DNA is predetermined. Let's be clear about that. At the same time, here's a man whose ambition made him very, very individual in his claims to power. I think eventually when it comes to power, he'll listen to no one.
You think he'll listen to no one?
Yeah.
Because the RSS will definitely expect him to stay on the course, because they've actually worked as his booth managers where the BJP wasn't strong. They've been propagating Modi's message. They won't allow him to veer off course, will they?
Well, I think too much is made of this RSS helps, RSS helps. If the RSS has this wonderful cadre that can turn out election victories every time, how come it's failed so completely at the last two elections?
They said we didn't work for Advani.
Yeah, it's easy to say that now, isn't it? But they certainly did work in the first election that Vajpayee lost. They've tried very hard before. The only election where they didn't make an effort, I think, is 1984, when they wanted to see Vajpayee defeated. Beyond that, they worked quite hard. The RSS is a strong organization. I granted a lot of respect for that, but the RSS without Modi could not have won this election. It's Modi that dragged the RSS kicking and screaming by its kachas into the 21st century, introduced it to technology. The RSS,
but that's unfair.
It is.
The RSS has been trying to modernize itself to some extent. Maybe they move very slowly.
Like that? No, it's Modi and Modi's people who've given them the inputs to modernize the RSS. I think the RSS recognizes that and appreciates that.
No, the RSS
he hasn't done it as an outsider, as Shiv correctly says. He is a pracharak. He's done it as an insider, but he's part of the modernizing fringe of the RSS.
No, but he has been. We've seen the RSS do meetings, trying to modernize its curriculum, bring in people who are professionals, move away from the daily shaka, allow people to come in over a weekend. They are trying to modernize. Maybe they're not moving as fast as Veer Sangvi would like, but they are trying to change themselves.
They're moving faster than Veer thinks. I've worked with them on cyclones and disaster management. RSS is the most modern disaster management agency in civil society. See, Veer is right in saying the RSS had to modernize, and it saw in Modi an opportunity to modernize itself. There he's right. Symbolically and in terms of modernist frames, the RSS has become ultra-modern. But remember, this is true of all cultural groups. The best IT technology is available in religious and cultural cults. No one can match IT. I mean, IITs and Indian Institute of Science would be embarrassing in front of a religious cult.
No, but when I went to the RSS Shaka for a visit, there were people who were from Infosys who were serving chai over there. They'd been cleaning the utensils. That's how they are brought into life inside the RSS.
But that's the cultural style. If you look, whether you look at the Ramakrishna Mission or the RSS or the ISKCON, you'll see hundreds of professionals who have come to donate the talent. This permeation of professionals into these organizations has modernized them in a very quiet way. With Modi, they got an opportunity to go public and modernize on a different kind of scale.
Okay. We take a very quick break. We return, we go across live to our colleagues all across Varanasi as we're waiting for India's new Prime Minister to go and perform the Ganga aarti. Much as everything that Manmohan Singh did was away from the glare of the cameras, it's more and more apparent that everything that Narendra Modi will do will be in the full glare of the cameras. This man wakes up at 4 o'clock, does yoga, gets cracking at 6, works till late into the night and works Saturdays and Sundays both. Shiv Vishwanathan, which sang we were in for the long haul here. These are live images coming from Varanasi where preparations are on for an evening Ganga aarti. I want to go across to my colleague Ankit Tyagi, who's reporting live this evening from Varanasi. Ankit, describe the preparations you see around you and how excited is Varanasi about the fact that they've elected India's new Prime Minister, Ankit?
Well, it seemed that the 5,16,000 people who have voted for Narendra Modi will come out on the street. That was the sort of buzz and excitement today since morning, Rahul, when Narendra Modi had to come here. He just crossed from where I am right now at the Laura Beach Choraha. He has now gone towards the Kashi Vishwanath temple, and both sides of the road were filled with BJP workers. And very interestingly, there were flags of Apna Dal, the allies of BJP, who wanted to show Narendra Modi that they have also played their role in his victory. There was Baba Ramdev's, Swami Ramdev's supporters with their flags also here. And there, yes, of course, the BJP cadre with the saffron caps dancing with their dhols out. So, of course, a carnival sort of an atmosphere. People on the rooftops also trying to catch a glimpse of Narendra Modi, India's PM designate. Unlike the last time when the procession was slow, when he was acknowledging to people, he was out of the window waving to them. This time it was a quick drive-through. In fact, the security scenario has changed. They were barricading all around, and he just zoomed past, in front of the crowd. Now he'll be at the Kashi Vishwanath temple, where a special puja is being organized for him. He will be performing that puja, and after that, we'll be going to the Ghats for the Ganga aarti at around 7 p.m. 8:30 is what we have been told that he will be going back to Delhi from Banaras. So, of course, it's a packed schedule for him, but a very important and significant gesture as far as Banaras is concerned.
You know, you are covering the Kejriwal campaign very closely. How disappointed is Kejriwal with the margin of victory? Because he was insisting 48 hours before the election, though I have been traveling very intensively. My instinct is we will win, we will beat Modi. There's a big surprise lined up. Does he think, now that several in his party have started to say that maybe it was a mistake to go to Varanasi and fight against Narendra Modi, does he think that this has done him good, or does he think it's done him bad?
Well, of course, he's with the entire party, and along with the cadre, Arvind Kejriwal is also disappointed. Not because he has lost, but also because of the margin of the victory. 3 lakh votes it's a huge margin as far as the defeat is concerned. But as far as the decision to come to Banaras and challenge Narendra Modi is concerned, I spoke to Arvind Kejriwal himself. He said that the whole idea was not to let Narendra Modi go unchallenged. This is politics. A decision could have gone right or wrong, but he still says that according to him, his decision to not let Narendra Modi go unchallenged has worked. Remember also, Rahul, even if you look at the votes, the Aam Aadmi Party was hoping that this time, according to the caste combinations, they would be surprised that they can spring up. The minority vote will come towards them. That happened, but all the other castes, blurring the caste lines, have overwhelmingly voted for Narendra Modi. Everybody else has got votes in few thousands. So, of course, that is something that it was very interesting to see that everybody in the villages who had promised Arvind Kejriwal, their campaign in the villages was very good. Even they went ahead and voted for Narendra Modi. So, the Aam Aadmi Party is more disappointed as far as Delhi is concerned. With Banaras, they said that they wanted to make a point, and in whatever way they did, they have been successful.
Well, when you have the option of either voting in a MP or voting in a Prime Minister, I think the people of Varanasi chose. We're heading into a break. Narendra Modi's cavalcade at this time is headed towards the Dashashwamedh Ghats in Varanasi, one of the most beautiful spiritual experiences in the world, the oldest city on the planet, and now India's newest Prime Minister